As you finish saying what you're saying, I'd like to invite another pause and then ask your group to name briefly, where in this process did you sense the movement of spirit? Take a pause. Where did you sense the movement of the spirit? Just take a moment to pause about that. And in your group, just briefly try to name that.
There was a connection between each person's sharing in one way or another connected to another person. There's a similarity or a
You can continue to stay with that question for yourself if you would like to. We want to take just a moment to hear what has surfaced in different groups and to give a moment to allow anyone who would like to express to the whole group briefly an insight on what do we sense emerging in the common heart now. So if anyone would like to speak briefly to what came in your group around that question. Let's see here a little bit from the whole.
The one thing I hope I'm summarizing this for everybody, is an appreciation and a love of the community that we feel it felt in this small circle, but also in being here and always, anytime that we are here.
In our weakness is our strength.
There's a quote that came to my mind that seems very appropriate. There will come a time when the earth is quiet. So and the only thing that you will hear is your heart. So you better know the sound of it. Otherwise, you won't know what it is telling you.
I think in our group, we kind of went from what I experienced to what we experience as a community, and the importance of when the associates spoke up, how that all moved us, you know, their spirituality and their deepness and how we all work together.
I think in our group,
what we experienced was holy joy.
And one more question, if you would like to respond from anywhere. Where did you experience the movement of spirit in this? Does anyone have an insight to share?
I experienced the movement of the Spirit in the quiet murmuring from all the groups. We come from different places. Some people have never been here before, but the Spirit was moving throughout this group.
Thank you.
I think in our group, the main focus of the Spirit was in listening to what everybody said, and then taking that for our own responses and picking up even a word, and listening to that.
Thank you.
We came to recognize the goodness. God is supreme goodness, and then we recognize the goodness in each one of us. And that created the energy that our speaker yesterday said is the third person of the Trinity, the shared energy between the first person and the second person of the Trinity is that shared energy.
The first time we were asked to respond, our group remained silent. And you could hear the energy begin in the room as one voice was added to another voice, to another voice. And it just, I felt that movement of energy and spirit. And then in our circle, when we began sharing, it was amazing to me how each person's reflection in some way or another connected to somebody else's. And again, the energy of the Spirit.
Thank you. And there's much, much more that we will not hear that bubbled up in each group, but we are present to it. And we somehow carry it with us, even though we don't intellectually know what that was. So to conclude, I would invite you to take another couple minutes of silence to just be with the question, what happened within you during this session? What happened within you? And if it helps you to jot something down, feel free, but be with that in quiet. And in this final moment of quiet, we also reverence what has just happened here. And also be aware of a sense of gratitude among us all for what has been the participation and the presence of each person here. And I invite Shell to talk about where we go from here.
Let's just take a couple of deep breaths to soak in what we've all just experienced. If you are like me, after such an experience, I always ask, so what now? What's the hope, the desire, the dream? How does this experience help me to live the gift of our charism into the future? what seems to be emerging among us is this real desire to move into the future together. The question doesn't seem to be if we will move, but the how are we going to do it together. Well, what we've just experienced together is one way of doing that. It can help us vision for and move toward the future through contemplative engagement. We are quite used to planning, yet in this evolutionary time, what is surfacing is also a need for a complementary way of moving forward, of planning, of longer range visioning. Communal contemplative engagement grounds us in what is important to us. And it also frees us to be open to